come to you recording at 07 hours 6 minutes on Friday, January 10th. This is called We Are Promoting the Stereotype and Stigmas of the society that never accepted us. We are promoting the stereotypes and stigmas of the societies that never accepted us. And what do I mean by that? The most recent thing I love to hear, but I hate to hear, is assimilation. Assimilation is doing what basically a group or a mass people of what are they doing. But first, and this is why history is important to me, now all of a sudden, we keep saying history is not important. When you tell me history is not important, and you start moving around, you know what that shows me? It shows me your cognitive ignorance, if you were the same race, and your cognitive racism. Cognitive has to do with your mind. That's your mentality, your mental, your mind. And eventually, if you can tell anything what to do, what happens eventually? It seeps in other places. So it goes into your heart. It goes into your theories, your it's a hypnosis, it's a trance. It's part of those spells, curses, and incantations. The iniquities, right? The sins. Sin mean curse. So eventually, you promote and advocate for what we was trying to do far, far away. Here are some examples. Beauty pageants. Why do we need beauty pageants to set the standard? You're promoting that. You're telling them that we need their beauty standards. When we started doing the man versus men, the brother versus brother, and eventually, I'm not going to call everybody my brother. When you start telling my brothers that they don't have to be good, or it's okay to be this way. Same as you telling the sisters, it's okay to be crazy. It's okay to be mean. It's okay to act as a baby after the age of 4 or 5 years old because you're not getting your way. It's okay. So now you see these women walking around older women are telling younger women, a man should accept you're crazy. No. That if women don't accept men that don't have jobs, and in this case, a lot of men don't have jobs because it's hard to get the job they want. You can work any job. Of course, anybody can go work any job, but the job they want is hard. And these are men that's graduating. See, nobody talk about the real things. I don't care if I don't get too deep in talking about, well, let me show an investment vehicle is not hard, but that is something that since you're forgetting history and you keep forgetting where you come from, of course it's going to be hard to talk about with a lot of brothers because you got to see where their mind at first. Or I can get a panel of brothers that just think alike, think as such. Cool. But how far am I going to get with the next topics, the next subjects, the next discussion? Because you're just thinking such as similar to each other. That's not helping. Sometimes you do need a little bit of disagreement to finally understand some things. Because if I didn't disagree with someone, probably would never really truly learn. I probably would never have knowledge. I never would probably understand and have wiseness. And that's another thing. We're trying to be so much as the Soviet. Soviet in the word society, if you could look it up, mean the exact same thing. I thought that was just sitting here one day and I said, wow, Soviets sound so much. And I said to myself, let me look this up. It's the exact same word. You could look it. I looked up in the dictionary and I went online to look it up. I said, wow. Basically, they're placing it the same way. So we're living in the Soviet. So when we call America with the 3 Ks, we living in not a country, live in an organization. It goes again. See, we sound silly because you have not studied. And also, I bet there's things out there that you and people that you know have not took the time to think about. Have you? Think about some things you know now that you didn't know a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And then now you're telling me I should have known this 10 years ago, but how? Nobody never said it to me. Whatever it may be, think about all the things you know. Nobody ever said it to you, but you should automatically know. Think about this. We have these famous people. Most of our people that's famous, they're not doctors. They're not famous lawyers. They're not. The people we know in this era are not famous for inventing a machine to we have that out there, but that's not even famous. That's not what's famous. The things young men and women starting and creating businesses, young kids because of their parents showed them. That's not what's famous. What's famous is our celebrities and actors and rappers. Isn't that crazy? Any actor can be an entertainer, and any entertainer can be an actor or actress, vice versa, man or woman. But somehow, in our building of a race, that's what is important. We say this happened to this one person, I don't know what it feel as to have $1 million in my bank account. Now, if you ask me, I know how it would feel to have 20 to 30,000 a month. Yes, that's not a lot, because you can do that wrong faster than $1 million. Because it's gonna take, if I mess up 30,000 from $1 million, it's gonna take 5 more times, 3 to 5 more times to do that wrong again. But we, as you know, not being funny, it's people out here that will do that wrong, because if you look at babies making, you have a child, okay, you did wrong, you have another, you did by a different guy, or by a different woman, you have another one by a different woman, a different guy. We did that 3, 4 times. It cost the child to be brought in this world, in reality, $10,000. I don't have $10,000 just to sit around. But in reality, it costs $0 to create a baby. But it costs $10,000 to bring a baby in. Think about that. I bet we don't even know that. Can I ask you, what is the longest running African Descendant American company in America? That's your homework. I want to just do this. For the rest of the year, I want to give out homework assignments. This is the homework assignment. In the comment section, put it if you know. Don't guess. I want you to really, if you don't know, don't guess. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a week. Because I know I have 91 family members. Some people just watch and don't put nothing. I don't care. I'm not looking for the views. I just want to guide and challenge and educate. I know I didn't used to say educate, but I had to add that in there because I have to remember what I was doing this for. Go back to remembering. Let's do this. Remember what you're doing this for. Spread the word. Ask them. Start asking them on their panels and their live and in their discussion. I'm about to start doing that. I want to ask everybody now that's making these platforms. That's my next discussion. Creating our own platforms. That's going to be week 51. I want to ask you, what are you doing this for? Are you living up to what you're doing this for? And do you see any changes in your life when you're doing this? For me, I don't see changes in my life because I'm living this. I'm living what I'm saying. And I thought, I'll be listening to people and I see it on there. So like, wow, he's feeding all these people. He's doing that. And the creator had the spirit, and the creator had to stop me and say, you have done that too, brother. You've done that. You're doing it now. Your position don't have to be in front of the masses. And I know that. But I need that reminder here and there. My position may not look as theirs. It's cool. That's their purpose. That's their position they're in. It's not It's not an accident that I'm in the position I'm in. Imagine if I wasn't in my position and what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm not doing it. Think about that. Imagine that. Just imagine that. Imagine the position you were in and you wasn't doing it. Imagine that you wasn't being that father you're supposed to be. Just imagine real quick. I don't mean in a destructive, mean type of way, or I'm just saying that to be funny. Excuse me. Imagine the position you are in and you wasn't performing that at your career, your business, your job, your family, you being a father, you being a husband, you being a brother, you being a sister, you being a mother, you being a aunt, you being a niece. Imagine all the things that you've been through and you wasn't in position to do it. So I say unto us, brothers and sisters, let's stop. We came into 2020. I thought New Year, I know I don't have resolve. I have resolve. I don't have resolutions as everyone else. My channel not as skilled, as high as everyone. But I thought we was going to come into the new year, the new decade, and start promoting and doing all the other things I thought we were going to do. Like, I saw such as last year was, okay, we talked about it, because it never haven't been talked about before. And this is what happened to each era. Each era, they get on certain things, but if something happens, so when Brother Malcolm died and Brother Martin died, it stopped. I don't care what no one say. And the brothers keep saying, we don't want leadership. No, this is exactly why leadership sucked for our race. I thought these brothers was on my side, talking about African Descendant. I'm thinking they want to build with me, with the women that want to. And it's like, it's always the people that don't want to do it at that level or don't understand it. Been telling me that they're lazy or incompetent. I said, wow. So I always been about the same race. But you'd have called me lazy and incompetent at 20 years of age? At 23? Because I'm quite sure, brothers and sisters, you didn't know about that information towards the law, towards business, towards owning property and all these things. Everything I talk about, I know I didn't know that at 24. I knew there's a law. I knew there's a process to own property and things, not just to own a house. To own property, I knew there was a process to get land. I just didn't know. Even when you first started reading, you looking at these things like, what this is. It was hieroglyphics to you, because you didn't see that. Because again, you got all these great athletes, rappers, and singers, celebrities. They're not teaching. They're not guiding and challenging their children to be business people. They're not showing them how to be part of life, pay bills. What is a bill? Why is this have to be paid? What do you do in this situation? Challenge them. Do you know where to go? Do you know where you at? You don't have the parents doing that. Are you? And I ask you that. Are you doing that? In the homework, I didn't write it down, which I know I should have. I'm going to go back and I'm going to ask that question again. The homework assignment. I'm going to put it in the description box and then in the comments. So, check out that homework. I'm going to put it in the thing and do the homework. The homework is, sorry about that. What is the oldest African Descendant American company in America? Hopefully some of you know it off the top of your heads. I hope all 91 of my family members, I can at least get 50% to know the answer to that. And if you don't, that's all right. In a way you should know it, in a way you shouldn't know it. And this is another thing. One more thing. This is not homework. This is for you and for you to think about. Why should I know all of these things? Why? Give me a reason. Start giving us reasons. Now, this is not a segment for excuse or to belittle, to downgrade the race or to bash us. This is just a segment of this really peer in of what we're talking about. why should I state your name or people or your children's name, know all of this information of what was never, so what was never, why would they know this information? What was never taught, what was never shown to them, what was never guided to them, what was never educated. Why should I even think different? I'm about to just start asking us questions and just answer the questions in the comment section. I'm going to put the questions in the description box and the comment thread, and let's talk. Let's discuss these different matters that if we want to see our race get better, we got to know a little bit of information about us. We got to know something. We just can't say, I'm going to start a business. Well, did you know, the first business that they gave us was land. And so we couldn't read. Most of the people, when they freed them, couldn't read. Just as I bet you people don't even think about, the Kunta Kinte was only 15, going on 16. These were grown boys, grown African or indigenous people, indigo men and women that were girls and boys, and some of them were women. Because it's not being funny. I don't have to kill a woman to control her mind, heart, and her spirit. Most men, you literally have to kill. You got to kill him. I mean, and if you don't kill him physically, you literally have to kill him in his strongest area. You got to find out what is his strongest area. That's why I say, brother, guard your heart, guard your mind. I can easily been killed listening to brothers talking about, I need a African, and they don't even respond to you because they say you play victim. But I say, I'm not even coming here for that. I'm coming to ask you specific questions. What the hell happened to us? So what I say unto us, I say unto all, it's your path, it's your journey, it's your choice. Choose wisely. The homework is, what is the oldest running business corporation company, what is the oldest running African Descendant company in America? Sorry, that sounded more confusing than it did. What is the oldest running African Descendant American business company in America? And some other questions. Why should your child and you know all this information? Why should other people, why should other people know this information? What are some things that you learned that you didn't know at 22? And if you're 25, you're part of my younger African descendant, ebony, quote unquote, black men and women. What are some things that when you was 14, if you can remember when you was 14, 15, or 16, now you are 20, or now you are 18. What is something you didn't know at 12? So if you take your age and go back 5, 6, 7, 8 years and take your age now, what are some things you didn't know? And now, here's another question. What are things that you do now differently? And this is going to be, I'm going to add this one in there. What are some things you do now that's different since you've been on social media that you probably wouldn't have done different based off of social media? And then we're going to talk about it. But please give me some feedback, some response. I appreciate it. I'm going to do my best to put it in the timelines. Say la.